Today was one of the sunnier days we've had in a little while, but you may have noticed increasing clouds later this afternoon. This is because our next system is moving in rather quickly, although it doesn't look all that impressive on radar as of right now. Throughout the course of the evening, the system will track southeastward across Wisconsin, with an area of light accumulating snow out ahead of it. This should enter far northwestern Illinois around 7 to 8 o'clock, reaching the Chicago metro by 9 to 11 p.m. Snow will continue to work southeastward across all of northern and most of central Illinois over the course of the early overnight hours, but this first area of snow won't be very long lasting, and by 2 a.m. or so we should taper off to just some light flurries. But then closer to daybreak, around 4 to 6 a.m., snow will re-enter northwestern Illinois as the system's cold front pushes eastward, resulting in another period of light accumulating snow. Part of this will likely be falling during the morning rush hour, so expect areas of slick roadways and low visibility, possibly under a mile at times, across the northern half of the state during the early to mid-morning hours. But after around 9 a.m. or so, snow will begin to exit eastward, with only some flurries or very light drizzle lingering through the middle part of the day. After a few hour period of temperatures rising slightly above freezing during the early afternoon hours, where we might even see some sunshine, cold air aloft will really begin to push overhead by mid-afternoon out ahead of the Arctic cold front that'll push through Friday evening, which could allow for some scattered heavy snow showers to develop, maybe even a squall or two in the 4 to 8 p.m. time frame. As far as snow accumulations go, this one's a bit of a tricky one as guidance is kind of all over the place. But this seems to be a decent representation of what we think will happen. This first wave of accumulating snow that will come late this evening into the late overnight hours should push through and drop anywhere from a half inch to as many as 2 inches in areas that see better snowfall rates tonight. There's also a lot of dry air we have to get rid of tonight before we see any snow at the surface, so amounts will kind of hinge on how fast we can saturate that layer of dry air. Then after a few hour lull, the second wave of snow will push through, once again dropping anywhere from an additional half inch to maybe an inch and a half or so. This will be what falls during the morning commute. So altogether, we're anticipating a widespread 1 to 2 inches, locally 3, in locations that can get under some of the heavier areas of snow. It's possible snow amounts won't be quite as uniform as they usually are, as there may be a bit more of a showery nature to this snow it looks like. But still, highest amounts are anticipated across northern Illinois, with the best shot at localized higher amounts near that 3-inch threshold for areas along and north of I-80. Snowfall amounts will taper off as you head into central Illinois, with only a trace to a half inch expected down by the I-72 corridor. Another interesting thing about this system is temperatures will be fairly steady through about midnight in the low 20s, but they'll actually creep up a bit during the early morning hours. Then during the late morning into the afternoon, we should rise above freezing just about everywhere across the state, so some of the snow that we get tonight should melt and compact. But then after a few hours of milder temperatures, you can see the Arctic air waiting to our northwest that'll surge southeastward behind the Arctic cold front, and by Saturday morning we'll be in the single digits. So you'll probably want to clear whatever snow we do get before it turns into a solid sheet of ice tomorrow night. Then again, after our light areas of accumulating snow are out of the way, we'll have to watch the scattered heavy snow shower or even snow squall potential tomorrow afternoon into the evening. While these could be rather isolated, anyone that gets caught up inside one of these could experience similar conditions to what we had yesterday morning, but on a smaller scale, with rapidly dropping visibilities and roads quickly becoming snow covered. Something to keep in mind if you'll be driving around the 4 to 8 p.m. time frame tomorrow. Taking a look at modeled visibilities tonight and tomorrow, you can see the first wave of snow late this evening, with some areas dropping below a mile. So although this should be mainly light snow, it could come down at a good clip for an hour or two this evening into the early overnight hours. Then, the lull before our morning commute wave, which looks quite similar, another 1 to 3 hour period of low visibility, under a mile possibility at times. Then the potential snow showers or squalls in the late afternoon through the evening hours. You can see how these will be very isolated, but they could be quite intense over localized spots, with visibilities possibly dropping down to near a quarter mile within them for a few minutes. Putting it all together here, most areas in the blue should end up with 1 to 2 inches north of the yellow dashed line. Further south of that, amounts will be an inch or less, with the best potential for any localized amounts higher than 2 inches across northern Illinois. So while this won't be that big of a deal, expect a slower than normal morning commute tomorrow morning. Give yourself some extra time as there could be some slick spots. But after tomorrow, we have a cold weekend ahead, with yet another Arctic cold front passing through on Sunday. Winter is certainly back.